Welcome to Midnight Mule FPL. I'm Midnight Mule and this is the video for Double Game Week 32 where we look at my thoughts for transfers for my team. Now I'm currently intending to play my wildcard in Game Week 33, so any transfers I make now are for just 1 week. And I currently have only 3 Double Game Week players, so I've got some hard choices to make. But before we do that, let's look at who did well in Game Week 31. Top scorer in the Midnight Mule Mini-league for Game Week 31 was Flying Peaky with Hala Madrid FPL with 79 points. That was managed with Murphy 16, Eva Nilsson for 13, Gvardiol, Eze both got 9, Munoz got 8, and that was all. But on the bench, they were playing the assistant manager for an additional 11 points. And then they left Nico Williams on the bench, but that's understandable. So, very nice score. Top of our league is Amit Ersin is back there with Fivish BK. They managed 65 points. And that was with Johnson for 18, so well done if you picked him. Livramento for 11, Munoz 8, Barnes 8, Mateta 8. And then on the bench they left Edison for 6 and Gvardiol for 9. As for me, I'm all the way down in 402nd. I got 53 points. And that was with Murphy 16, Bowen 7, Munoz 8, Gvardiol 9, Captain Salah 4, and that's all. And then on my bench, last on my bench, O'Shea with 4 points. But I obviously was never going to play him. So 53 points, but I did take a 4-point hit. However, that 4-point hit was worth plus 20. So the 2 players I sold got nothing. The 2 I brought in got 24 points. So that was an occasion where it was worth taking a hit. And that little graphic's from FPL Gameweek, by the way. So I got a green arrow this week, so that was nice. Gradually moving in the right direction, but we've only got a few game weeks left. I'm 57 points the wrong side of 1 million. And you might think that sounds bad, but I am nearer to 50k than 50k is to top. So that's how spread out the ranks are at the moment and how crazy it all is. So in the cup game at the moment, we've been following Ron Koo with Delulu because they knocked me out last game week, or rather my team. They were playing Marshall, Dupiciani, FPL Jones, and they both scored 52. So the tiebreak was Delulu goes through because he had most goals. So the team Delulu was Murphy with 16, Mateta 8, Munoz 8, Burns 6, Isaac 4 as captain, and that's all. And on the bench, Gvardiol for 9. And it seems lots of managers left Gvardiol on the bench this game week. So next game week, they're playing Kevin Thomas with the team The Gaffers. So whoever wins that, we'll look at their team. Thank you very much to everyone who watches these videos and subscribes, likes, leave comments, but most of all watches. I am aware that in the last 28 days, I've got a net of -5 subscribers. So that's interesting. But if I do better next season, maybe I get those 5 back. There's a website, FPL Gameweek. You can look at the content creators, how they're doing. And of the ones I like to listen to and watch, Praz is currently 3rd with Ben 4th and FP Harry 5th. And I'd be all the way down in 75th, which is currently a massive 57 points behind FPL Heisenberg. So my transfers. So I've called this transfer option 1A. I don't really have a realistic option of doing nothing. I don't think that's going to happen. So I've only got 3 doublers at the moment. 2 Newcastle, 1 Crystal Palace. So I have Areola as my keeper and Fabianski. Areola is currently away to Liverpool this coming game week. So I'm expecting 1 point from that, perhaps. Salah's just signed a new contract for 2 years. So he's going to be very excited and score lots of points, I think. So I could get rid of Areola and get Pope. Now, if I think each transfer is effectively worth 4 points, do I think Pope playing at home to Man United and Palace is going to score at least 4 points more than Areola away to Liverpool? And the answer is yes. So I think that is a transfer worth doing. Another option, because I've only got 1 Newcastle space, I could, for example, sell Robinson, who's going to be on my bench, and bring in Livramento. And again, I think Livramento is going to comfortably score 4 or more points more than Robinson. But I can't do both of those moves. So this is comparing those 2 transfers against each other. I could either have Pope and then play Kirkes, or I can have Areola and play Livramento. And I would need to decide which of these 2 combinations I'd prefer. Now, I do think Livramento is going to score more than Pope, but I think Kirkes has got a decent chance of getting at least 4 points, which would be a lot more than probably Areola would get. So that's a difficult choice there. And I don't know which way I'm leaning at the moment. And I've only got 12 and a bit hours to decide. Transfer number 2, which is completely independent. Foden's been very disappointing. Now, Man City is the early game. We may get a team leak that he's starting, but even if he does start, he may not even last 60 minutes. But I could move him out and get either Sarr or Eze. Both the two on the right are probably going to outscore Foden by at least 4 points. So again, in isolation, that's a transfer worth doing. And then transfer number 3, I could take João Pedro and I could move him on to Mateta. Now, this is the most difficult transfer because João Pedro is at home to Leicester and Leicester just letting goals for fun. And of course, Palace do have 2, I'd say, moderately difficult fixtures, away to Newcastle, away to Man City. And I've been playing fantasy football, albeit with the Telegraph, for a couple of decades or more. And people do get too excited about double game weeks and they forget how excited they get. So I think it's entirely feasible that Palace maybe get 1 goal in both games. That won't necessarily be Mateta. So if Pedro was starting, I think I'd almost certainly not do this move, but we don't know if he's starting or not. So this, for me, is the most difficult transfer because I genuinely don't know that Mateta is going to score 4 points more than Pedro will against Leicester. Transfer number 4, though this is something I could do as a package deal. I could take Areola, Robertson and Foden, for example, and swap them out for Henderson, Livramento and Eze. So do I think Henderson's going to get at least 4 points more than Areola? I think he probably is. I would expect him to get 2 or 3 points in both games. That's quite feasible. And that's probably going to outscore Areola. Livramento will outscore probably Kirkes by 4 points, maybe. And Eze will outscore Foden. But there are lots of permutations going on. And I keep trying different things. And I still don't know what I'm doing. So this is how my team could be looking for tomorrow as things stand. That would be Isak as captain. Unless we get news that he's out injured or something, I think that's staying. With Murphy as my vice. And then Livramento. They're at home to Man United and Palace. Now I could have Henderson away to City and Newcastle with Munoz and Eze. Now obviously if Palace let in loads of goals both games, Henderson and Munoz are going to look a bit silly. But if they keep just 1 clean sheet, which isn't likely but is possible, that would be pretty impressive. Then I got Gvardiol at home to Palace with his mate Marmoush. I got Salah at home to West Ham with his new contract. Palmer at home to Ipswich and João Pedro at home to Leicester. Then on the bench, I'd have Fabianski, which could be Areola. I've probably got enough money to keep Areola instead. Bowen away to Liverpool. Kirkes at home to Fulham. So the downside of this setup is I don't get to play Kirkes. And then O'Shea away to Chelsea. And in the background image is a little kitten looking at some numbers on a dice, trying to work out what he's supposed to do. And that's a bit like me this game week with FPL. So many options. Am I going with the emotions and going to go for 6 double game week players? Or do I use logic, think about history and just accept a lot of double game weeks don't go as well as we hope. And there'll always be single game week players that outscore them. So it's really tough. Yep, don't know what I'm going to do. Very interesting though. So there we have it. What happened in game week 31 and my thoughts for game week 32 regarding what I might do with my transfers. And I really don't know what I'm going to do. I just need to be careful not to go crazy because any transfers I do are just for 1 week as I'm wildcarding the 33. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a good FPL game week. Bye.